big mistakes that I made after I quit alcohol. First of all, feeling like you can drink again. That's the big one, which we'll go into in a second. Other mistakes are trying to associate with the people you used to drink with, going to the same places. Got to keep out of them sort of places. Not finding enough hobbies. You must get other hobbies. You must get other interests. Because when you work it out, the amount of time you spent planning to go to the pub, getting to the pub, drinking in the pub and recovering from the pub, could be the whole weekend. You've got to fill your time in with something. That has to be something non-drink related. Whether it's old hobbies or taking up some new hobby. It might sound a bit strange, but I went on a cookery course, which is really good. When I first stopped drinking years ago, I know I relapsed, but never mind. I did spend 8 years off the drink. I started to get fit again, started a gym course, went to a local spa place. So these things aren't cheap, but if you add up how much you spend on alcohol, they are cheap in comparison. So get yourself another hobby. You've got to keep busy, because when you work out, you break down your weekend or your days off, whenever they are, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or time that you spend drinking. Hundreds of man hours a month, isn't it? You spend either going to or from a pub, getting into a pub, drinking in the pub and recovering. Recovering is probably the main thing, isn't it? The amount of hours lost due to people ringing in sick is colossal in the UK. That's the only figures I've got, absolutely colossal. And lack of productivity, because a lot of people, they'll get in on a Monday morning. I know this from experience, you know it from experience. You've been there probably, if you're watching this channel. Getting in, we use this Monday to Friday just as an example. Not everybody works Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, but I'll use it as an example because a lot of people do. Getting 9, feeling groggy, rough, because you probably haven't slept before. You have the fear factor on the Sunday. I didn't experience that much because I had a slightly different job, but we'll not go into that. The fear factor on a Sunday. Oh, I've got to go to work tomorrow. This starts about 2 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, apparently. And you go to work and you feel terrible. You've had a few drinks Sunday, but you don't sleep properly on Sunday night. Never sleep properly. You've got to go a bit early. Get on the roads or the trains, the underground, buses, whatever it is. They're always busy, aren't they? There was a statistic being floated around years ago when I was in London about the underground, and the highest number of heart attacks happened between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. on a Monday. Statistically, you can see why. People have had a weekend off, they relax a bit, and then suddenly they're straight into this pattern underground. And the summer's very hot, packed, and just a nightmare. The stress levels go up. They've had the fear factor because they started drinking probably early on the Friday. We had a few drinks Saturdays. It doesn't go for everybody, but the vast majority of drinkers I'm talking about here. And then Sunday, they're winding down a bit and think, oh God, I've got to go back to work Monday. They've had like 3 or 4 days of like feeling, a little bit on edge, I suppose, because even the Saturday thing, I better not drink too much today in case I get a mess tomorrow, all this sort of thing. Alcohol takes over your world, is what I'm trying to say. So we're going to look at that side of it. As soon as you start drinking again, you're back to square one. That's the main thing, relapse. You have to look at relapsing. If you're going to relapse, every time you relapse, it's harder to get off it again, stay off it, and the symptoms come back much stronger. So keep out of the pub you used to go to. Find hobbies, find something different to do. That's the main thing. Get your time organised, start to write things down a bit, do a bit of journaling. Well, it's not a bit old-fashioned going to pen and paper, but there is something about writing things down that focuses your mind. Give yourself a list of what you're going to do the next day. But don't relapse is what I'm trying to say. This is something I would talk about all the time, because that's what nearly killed me. That's what kills a lot of people, relapsing. Because once you've detoxed your body, it all gets used to being alcohol-free. It's a big shock to the system, physically and mentally. It's psychologically draining as well. Not a good thing, relapse. It hits you like a train when it comes back, when you get back on the drink. The addiction's always waiting there to get you again, as it were, to trap you again, should I say. So start journaling, keep out of the pubs, get yourself new hobbies, that's main. Make new friends as well. It's not that difficult, because the people you know in the pub aren't really your friends, they're just people you associate with. I'll go in any pub as you could, particularly men. It's a bit different from men as to women. Go on your own as a man. You'll have a mate in 5 minutes, because a lot of people are the same. My girlfriend and I go to this local pub for a bite to eat now and again, and I would say 9 times out of 10, the same people. Single men, or men on their own, maybe with their wives at home, whatever. Single men with a newspaper, not really reading it, and they just sit there most of the day. And that's the life. And I was like that for a while, but I don't want to be like that again. That's why I don't want to relapse. So get yourself some other interests, get yourself out and about, get yourself some exercise, and do the one thing if you're feeling a bit rough some days, you're struggling with sobriety. Eat well, exercise well, focus, start reading, start listening to some music. All those hours that you spent in the pub, you weren't doing anything. You weren't looking after yourself, were you? You weren't doing anything physical. You weren't improving yourself. In fact, you're just going backwards. And you go so far backwards, you end up in a rut. And you can't get out of the rut. And then, unfortunately, if you're like me, you go into active addiction, where you fall off the cliff edge. And some people get back on. So I think I was lucky. Some people give up. Some people go into depression. And unfortunately, some people commit suicide or pass away because of mental or physical illness as well. People have accidents, all this sort of thing. So beware. So when you get sober, concentrate on where you want to be. Where I'm going to be. Give yourself a goal. What do I want to be doing in 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 6 months? How much can I save in a year? You're going to save a lot of money if you stop drinking. What, do I need to buy a new car? Should I buy a new car? Should I invest in money in stocks and shares? Should I put some money aside for my children? Whatever it is. Get another focus, not just waking up every day thinking, Saturday morning, I'll go down to the pub at 11:30 and see the lads. These pub chains are open at 8 and 9 in the morning. I don't know how if they have contributed to alcoholism, I'm not sure. I'm not saying they have, but I know people who go in there on a weekend at 9 o'clock and they're there all day and all night. I think sometimes it's just an excuse for a bit of company and a bit of warmth in the winter. That's all they do. These are young, fit, active men at the prime of their life, really, in their 30s and 40s. That's all they do on the weekend, all day. And it's no wonder the marriages collapse, the relationships collapse, and end up on their own, watching the football. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, it's not much of a life, is it? As a young man. I mean, I had quite a good job, an active job, and I drank socially, but I got into the addiction side of it as well, because it will pull you down eventually. It's going to catch you. So when you get sober, relish it, embrace it, enjoy it, and share it with other people. Because I know it's the only drug that you give up when people question you, why did you stop drinking? Why don't you drink? But your life's going to be better. You'll find that people are jealous as well, because you've got out of the rut. They haven't. Some don't want to get out of the rut, they're quite happy to do nothing, or just drink themselves to death in a lot of cases. If you carry on drinking, you'll die 25 years younger than the general population. It's a stark figure, that, isn't it? I read somewhere the other day that alcohol-related liver disease deaths of females has gone up 37% in 5 years. So, share the word, get it out there, because we need to be warned. People need to be warned about this. I wasn't warned, I don't think, as much as I should have been. I should have had some more common sense, as my mother always used to say. Should have known better, but once you're in an addict, no matter what people tell you, you can't get out of it. It's as simple as that. If you benefit from the channel, then please subscribe, share the videos if they're going to help anybody, which I presume they will if they listen carefully, because the advice I give is practical. I'm not a medical chap, but I know a little bit about things. And I'll see you all soon.